Welcome everyone back to Mr. Dye Weather Updates. We'll look at the live observations from the weather stations on the net weather. We'll also have a look at the mean CT from the Met Office, and then we'll look at all the ECMWF anomalies from the west of August and into early September. So if you like to like, share, subscribe, and please make sure you share this video as well onto Facebook and follow me on Facebook as well. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so here are the live observations. So this is temperatures from, we just reset it, including now. Obviously, it's going to be very warm, if not a hot day for many, other than obviously the far northwest of England. We can see here a lot fresher here. Some areas in Scotland are still in the single digits. So 5.9 there in Cairngorm Summit, I think. Is that what it is? Yeah. 8.1 degrees, 7.9 degrees. So some areas are in the single digits for now in Scotland. Some areas are in the teens though, but mostly low to mid teens. So 15 degrees in Dundee. It's around 13 degrees. Northern England getting a little bit warmer now into the mid to high teens now. 16 degrees in Yorkshire, 18 degrees in northwestern England. Highest of 19 degrees there, and a bit further south were high teens, low 20s already, so seeing 21, 22 Celsius already in the far southeast, most likely 21.4 recorded in Heathrow Airport in London. Looking over to the humidity levels, now unfortunately it's going to be quite a sticky heat, if I'm being honest, at least for the morning, for a little bit anyway. 88% humidity with 18 degrees. Obviously, it's going to get a little bit fresher as we go further north and west. But into central England, the humidity just starts to drop a little bit back into the high 60s. But where the heat is contained, it's still quite high humidity. About in the 70s, even in the low 80s in some of these meaning fairly high dew point, 16, 17, 18, 19 degrees at dew points. So quite relatively high, but more around average in Northern England, 14 degrees. Perhaps even 15 in some areas. Air pressure, so neutral in Northern England. Pressure will be building here, where we've got the rain, as that leaves. Low pressure to the southwest, because we've got an air of low pressure moving in from the southwest. A bit of a trough forming there. And icons, this is your icon ones, and this is also your gusts as well. Okay, finally looking at the Met Office central mean temperature. You can see here, July, we got to 19, CT for July was 19.5. That is 3.5 degrees above the 61 to 99 average provisional to July, basically. So yeah, I thought it would be finishing around that area, between 19 and 20 degrees. So quite a very hot and dry month. August, you can see here, it's already starting off like quite a warmer than average month. We're already 16.8. That is 1 degree above the 1st of August. So that's provincial 61 to 9 average, provincial to the 1st of August. Obviously, that's going to raise up to probably 17 or 18 for a little bit. Then it's going to drop down and then go up and then go down, as what this August is going to bring us, basically. Okay, finally looking at the ECMWF weekly mean pressure anomaly charts. You can see here for the 3rd and the 10th, we've got a very strong area of high pressure between Scotland and Iceland. We've also got low pressure systems out to the southwest. That could bring in that's around a southwesterly airflow, sometimes westerly at times as well, but mostly southwest to westerly airflow, with still got high pressure dominating in the continent with the odd quarter flows are possible. So yeah, warm week to come, really, as a trend. So that's something to have a look at. But yeah, obviously that'll be mostly settled weather, but Could still see some showers at times, especially towards the end of the week, but mostly a westerly theme where that centre of the high pressure is. And then we've got between the 10th and the 17th. Not much change, really. We've got a strong area of high pressure dominating and sitting over the UK and even Europe as well. So you can see Central Europe is got in it as well. We have got a low pressure system out to, what is this, Greenland? Yeah, it is Greenland. That will bring like a westerly airflow sometimes. So there could be a bit of interruptions at times, but winds are like flat there. 17th to the 24th, a little bit different. We've got low pressure to the continent. We've still got a ridging of high pressure out to the Atlantic. We could tap into some low pressure systems at times when obviously the Atlantic does wake up, but not a great signal. Still could be a westerly airflow. And then over to the 24th to 31st. Now this could be a little bit more unsettled, perhaps. We don't really have much of a signal. High pressure to the Atlantic, high pressure to the continent, and even some northern blocking there. Wait, no, yeah, that would be above, wouldn't it? Obviously that would be good winter. That would be like an easterly airflow, perhaps a little bit unsettled at times. Looking at that inflow, and then 31st to the 7th, again high pressure reestablishes itself firmly across the UK. Signs of a trough forming in the southwest. That could bring a southwesterly airflow at times, perhaps bringing thundery downpours and troughs at times. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, I think we're expecting high pressure to dominate. But obviously, if that trough forms, we get a southwesterly to westerly airflow. And finally, to the 7th and the 14th of September. This is like now autumn now, meteorologically. Still got high pressure, thermally in control. Perhaps low pressure systems into the Atlantic that could try to bring a westerly flow. We'll have to see what happens there. So not looking very promising for low pressure, at least on the weekly mean anomalies. But let's have a look at the 500 hectopascal height. So this is pressure above the atmosphere. You can see, again, 3rd of the 10th, we're expecting lower than average pressure to the Atlantic, high pressure ridging between the UK and low pressure to the north. That could bring a westerly airflow at times, bringing showers, but still quite warm. 10th and 17th, we've got high pressure ridging out to the West Atlantic and to England, bringing in a westerly to southwesterly flow. So quite flat winds, could be a bit showery at times, perhaps. Signs of a low pressure system around to the Atlantic, but they are more likely to be high pressure because we saw it through them. Looking over to the 17th to 24th, we've still got high pressure ridging out to the Atlantic. That will block any Atlantic systems. We could even see some low pressure systems around here. And here, again, that could be it could be an northeasterly airflow, probably. Looking good for winter, but it's not winter yet, isn't it? So, unfortunately, we have to wait for that. If obviously, that will be a snow event otherwise. Looking over to 24th to the 31st, a little bit of a weaker signal. High pressure shows signs of breaking down. Perhaps be replaced by low pressure systems out to the Atlantic. That will be a westerly airflow. So it could be a bit more unsettled in the last week of August, for a time anyway. Oops, doing that. And over to 31st and 7th, again high pressure. Then re-establish itself once again to England and Northern Europe. But signs of low pressure perhaps retreating to the south, so lower than average pressure to the south, perhaps bringing the southwesterly airflow, but mostly a westerly airflow, where the centre of the high pressure is. And finally, 7th to the 14th, again, very similar, high pressure, thermally in control, bringing some settled conditions at times, perhaps even some showers at times, if the Atlantic does wake up at this time, it probably will. Southwesterly airflow, where low pressures are dominating. Okay, now let's have a look over to the 2 metre temperature anomalies. This is the mean 2 metre temperatures over the next couple of days. You can see we are, for the majority of August, we are at least 60 to 70, perhaps even 80% above the average for all their time. So, looking like an above average month for everyone. Okay, now let's have a look at precipitation anomalies. This hopefully will give us a better idea where the centre of high pressure is, where the low pressure will be, will it give rain? Let's have a look. Well, you can see here, It's going to be a wetter than average week for Scotland only, and perhaps even northern Western England. But that is finally cutting it a little bit. Unfortunately, southern areas are still drier than average, and that also includes the rest of northern Europe as well. So this area, so that means probably high pressure is going to be dominating here. That's high pressure. That's low pressure. That's the southwesterly airflow. So obviously, that will be retreating upwards. That's going to be getting some more rain to northwestern England and also Scotland as well. Looking over to the... Did I skip ahead? Yes, I did. 10th and 17th. A bit of a weak signal, if I'm being completely honest, and that doesn't look great if you want to look for precipitation. But, you know, if this low pressure system, which has this rain, could tap in at times for southern England, so this could perhaps go in this area at times. Got some weak spots there. At times, that could be bringing some showers, probably. But a little bit of a drier than average in far north and northeast. This sort of area, that could even tap into this. High pressure could be right here. That could be the Azores side, quite settled, but no heat wave though. 17th, let's not jump ahead. 17th to the 24th shows that probably high pressure to the Atlantic, so it could be drier than average conditions in the Atlantic. Probably tapping into Ireland, perhaps even Western Scotland at times. Probably into Western England, probably in this dry theme where the centre of high pressure is basically. But wetter than average in Eastern England, where probably troughs at that northeast the airflow is, so low pressure there, bringing this sort of wind, a bit of an unusual wind for the time of year really. That will be bringing moisture off the North Sea and off Atlantic as well. But yeah, that's what it's looking like. But you can show the signs of some low pressure in the continent as well. So looking a bit wetter than average in the continent. That's France area, isn't it? A bit south. No, a bit further south, isn't it? There we go. Okay, so now let's have a look over to the 24th to the 7th. I think this looked a little bit more promising when I looked at it, if this ever loads. 24... Oops. Oh, for goodness sake. Gone a bit... There we go. 24th to the 31st, you can see here, looking a little bit more unsettled. I think low pressure will be hanging around this area, like it said on that pressure chart. Bringing wetter than average conditions in the far western England, perhaps even Scotland, maybe even southern England as well. So this portion could see some settled than average conditions as well. So yeah, looking a little bit more unsettled for the final week of August, perhaps bringing some wet rain. But the 31st and 7th, unfortunately, are back to drier than average once again. For the majority of England and Wales, other than the far north of Scotland, of course, where high pressure probably will be dominating in this area, bringing settled conditions again, even to September. Can you believe that? I think obviously that's meteorological autumn, not summer yet. But still, summer can have a little bit more energy in September sometimes. Looking over to the 7th to the 14th, looking even worse for this now. Drier than average conditions firmly in control, really. Especially in western areas. Perhaps signs of it being a bit more wetter in southern areas where probably the centre of high pressure will be blocking the Atlantic for now. High pressure out to the Atlantic, low pressure into the south. So, you know, no convincing signs of meaningful rainfall for the time being at all. Other than obviously perhaps the final week of August. Sorry, the second to final week of August. That's between the 24th and 31st. But still not much signs whatsoever. So it looks like we're going to be getting out of August and into September with a fairly drier than average month. Even September could be drier than average by the looks of it. Not looking good for rain. And probably into October at this time. Like proper frontal rain. Jet stream type of stuff, if you know what I mean. Okay, now look at the 2 metre temperatures. You can see here we are cooler than average in the northeast of Scotland, but warmer than average. Warmer than average in England. The majority of England. You can see much warmer than average in Central Europe, where they've got a bit of a heat wave going on there. And then between the 10th and the 17th, we're widely above average for most of us. I'll say on average 1 to 2 degrees above average, perhaps 3 degrees in southern England. Scotland's around about above average as well. 10th and 17th and 24th, again, widely at least a degree or two above average, perhaps 2 to 3 degrees above average in southern and central England. 24th to 31st, throughout a little bit more seasonal, about 1 to 2 degrees, perhaps more like 1 degree above average, and around average for Scotland. 31st, 7th, around 1 to 2 degrees above average, about 3 in the far southwest, so a bit warmer there. First week of September, looking up widely above average, really, 1 to 2, perhaps even 3 degrees above average. So definitely looking like a warm start to September, perhaps a bit more, well, maybe more unsettled end to August, perhaps more changeable as well. So yeah, not much signs really for rainfall in the time being, unfortunately. Obviously, southern areas do need the rainfall, but I don't think there's going to be much of that, unfortunately. So, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.